Hello, this is Dr. Awitan. Today I'm going to discuss with you Puredine, Shopfreemart Iodine supplement. According to the Bible, people historically lived to be hundreds of years old prior to the flood, but immediately thereafter, life expectancy was cut to less than 100 years in most cases. Could the secret lie in the fact that iodine and other minerals were washed out of the soil by the flood? That could explain why iodine is found in sea vegetations and not in fruits and vegetables grown in the land. Since iodine is primarily only found in the ocean or deep earth mines, diets lacking in ocean fish and sea vegetables is another major reason for iodine deficiency. Next would be low iodized salt diets, followed by high carb diets, especially diets with a lot of bakery products, bread, and pasta. Lastly is vegan vegetarian diets. Dr. Brownstein, author of Iodine, Why You Need It, Why You Can't Live Without It, along with Drs. Nang and Nussbaum, tested over 6,000 patients and found approximately 96% were iodine deficient. These figures are consistent with results of other researchers, Dr. Jorge Flechas and Charles Hakala, in their worldwide iodine tests. Iodine deficiency increases the risk of cretinism, mental impairment, reduced intellectual ability, goiter, deafness, infertility, delayed physical and mental abilities, ADHD, SIDS, multiple sclerosis, myelin disorders, and various cancers, including breast, prostate, endometrial, and ovarian cancers. Iodine deficiency is a significant public health problem in 129 countries. Iodine deficiency is the world's greatest cause of preventable mental retardation, according to the World Health Organization. According to Dr. Gerald Borrow, a former dean of the Yale's Medical School, for 5 cents per person per year, you can make the whole population smarter than before, simply by adding iodine to the salt supply. In 1923, Dr. Marin did a study in Michigan and Ohio where 2,190 students were supplemented with 9 milligrams of iodine per day for 2.5 years, and a control group of 2,305 students received no supplementation. The supplemented group had 0.2%, that's 2/10 of 1% incidence of goiter, while 22% of the control group produced goiters. This is the group without iodine supplementation. The National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey did a study from 1970 to 2012. They reported that iodine levels dropped by 50% over a period of 42 years. They also reported that moderate to severe iodine deficiency increased more than 450%, 450% from 1970 to 2000. Iodine has successfully been used to treat the following list of illnesses, which should be a good indication of the pandemic nature of iodine deficiency. ADHD, ADD, allergies, atherosclerosis, autoimmune disorders, bacterial overgrowth, brain fog, breast diseases, including cancer, breast pain, bronchitis and pneumonia, cancers, coughs, chronic fatigue, constipation, depression, Dupuytren's contracture, eczema, excessive mucous eye problems, GERD, fibrocystic breasts, fibromyalgia, fibroids, gastroparesis, that is a condition when the stomach cannot empty normally, genitourinary diseases, goiter, and many others. It will take me at least 15 more minutes to mention all of them. So for the sake of limited time, I refer you to 200 diseases.com ebook. Could iodine be a silver bullet against disease that has been purposely obscured to enrich the so-called health care industry? At one time, iodine was the remedy of choice in every hospital, every doctor's office, and every home medicine cabinet. Today, the only place that iodine is frequently used is to treat disease in veterinary clinics. Why do you suppose that is? Because animals have to be cured quickly and inexpensively. Otherwise, a pound of hamburger would cost you $60. According to Lynn Farrow, author of Iodine Crisis, iodine was the first treatment of choice for tumors and aggressive diseases of obscure origin during the 19th century. Farrow also says that the notion that the refined iodized salt meets our daily needs for iodine is a dangerous misconception. According to the research of both Farrow and Brownstein, the amount of iodine in salt far too low, unless that 19% of it gets absorbed by the body, and many people today avoid refined salts due to the doctor saying it is bad for cardiovascular health. Bad information. The RDA given for iodine is 150 micrograms, which equals 0.15 milligrams. 0.5 milligrams. This amount may be able to prevent goiter, but it certainly is not enough to provide iodine for 37.2 trillion cells outside of the thyroid that all need iodine to function properly. Why is iodine supplementation recommended following a nuclear disaster? Radioactive iodine kills the thyroid gland, and people who are deficient in iodine readily absorb iodine from the environment. So when a radioactive cloud passes by, radioactive iodine is sucked up into the thyroid gland to fill up its iodine stores. CDC website recommends potassium iodide for radiation poisoning. The advised dosages are detailed in our ebook, www.200diseases.com. What exactly does iodine do in our cells? Generally speaking, there are two different forms of iodine, iodide and elemental iodine. Iodide is a compound that is created by combining iodine with a salt, such as potassium iodides, are transported into the thyroid cells by a transport molecule called the sodium iodide symporter, or NIS. After iodide enters the cell, it undergoes two important processes: oxidation and organification. Oxidation. Oxidation effectively converts iodide to iodine. High doses of iodide can potentially damage the thyroid gland if production of hydrogen peroxide in the body is insufficient to oxidize the iodide. Taking high doses of potassium iodide can be dangerous and can lead to damage of thyroid tissue and to the forming of antibodies. against thyroid peroxidase, a hyperthyroid condition called Hashimoto's disease. One element crucial in the process of oxidation is selenium. May I repeat that? One element crucial in the process of oxidation is selenium. Another trace element most people are deficient in. Iodine versus iodide. Shopfreemart Puredine is pure, nascent, or elemental iodine. It has no need to be imported into the cells and no need to be oxidized to be converted into iodine. Elemental iodine can be used by the cells without any other chemical reactions necessary. Now, we come to organification. The next step in the utilization of iodine is called organification, which means that iodine becomes part of cholesterol, fats, and proteins, and it takes about 100 times the RDA of iodine to produce proteins like delta iodolactone, which regulates cell death called apoptosis and cellular growth, both of which are implicated in the formation of cancer. Iodolactone also keeps hydrogen peroxide in check. This is a critical factor because too much H2O2 damages tissues and causes an autoimmune response like Hashimoto's or Graves' disease. Organification is dose dependent. RDA of 150 microgram of iodine per day. This is barely enough to prevent goiter. 100 times RDA, that's 15 milligrams of iodine daily, is required to make iodolipids, delta iodolactone, needed for cell apoptosis and for the regulation of hydrogen peroxide. 12 to 50 milligrams of iodine daily is sufficient for a vast majority of adults. But according to Dr. Brownstein, you can take up to 100 milligrams a day. Now, then we discuss halogens. Halogens. Iodine belongs to a group of chemicals on the periodic scale called halogens or halides, which includes fluorine, chlorine, astatine, and bromine. All halides have a similar chemical structure and compete with iodine for binding and absorption into the iodine receptor sites. In 1960s, flour and milk were both fortified with iodine, which had a positive effect upon human health. But 10 years later, iodine was removed from both flour and milk, and bromine was added to flour to replace the iodine. This was one of the greatest health blunders of all time, or was it? By 1970, those who owned and controlled Big Pharma were also in control of the FDA and the AMA, or American Medical Association. Bromine is found in flour products including bread, pasta, bakery goods, carbonated drinks, juice drinks, processed foods, medications, tap water, swimming pools, hot tubs, plastics, upholstery, carpets, fire retardants, etc. Chlorine is another dangerous halide with broad exposure due to it being used to disinfect tap water, sewage, and industrial waste. It is used in the production of paper and cloth as a bleaching agent. It is used in cleaning products including household bleach. Chlorine is also used in the preparation of chlorides, solvents, pesticides, polymers, synthetic rubbers, and refrigerants. When chlorine enters the body as a result of breathing, swallowing, or skin contact, it produces acids in the body which are corrosive and which damage your cells on contact. Furthermore, chlorine blocks the uptake of iodine in the body. Fluoride. Fluoride is another halide that is prescribed as a medicine to prevent tooth decay. Among other things, fluoride blocks iodine from getting into the receptor sites of your brain cells. Dr. Brownstein explains that bromine and fluoride are goitrogens, which means they promote the formation of goiters. Bromine is a carcinogen and it binds to iodine receptors in the breast. Women with breast cancer have considerably large amounts of bromine and fluoride than women without breast cancer. Iodine, on the other hand, has anti-carcinogenic properties. Cancer is a result of mutated cells. Iodine is critical for the P53 gene, which prevents damaged cells from dividing. Iodine and selenium helps P53 do its job of eliminating abnormal cells. Cancer patients have used 50 to 300 milligrams of iodine per day successfully. There have been over 34 human studies and 100 animal studies linking fluoride to brain damage, including lower IQ in children, and studies have shown that fluoride toxicity can lead to a wide variety of health. Now, suggested iodine usage. The cost of iodine is so low that money is seldom the issue. Take enough iodine to supply the needs of all of your cells. As mentioned above, the RDA for iodine barely provides enough to prevent goiter. It does not provide nearly enough for the entire body. Adults need from 12 to 50 milligrams per day. However, start with 1 drop daily and gradually work up to the optimum dose, because iodine is going to begin pulling toxins like bromide and fluoride out of your cells. Children's doses should be adjusted according to age and weight. Type of iodine. Nascent iodine, this is the preferred type. This form of iodine holds an electromagnetic charge that releases a large amount of energy when consumed. It's regarded as the most absorbable form of iodine because it closely resembles a precursor of thyroid hormone. So your thyroid can use it quickly and more efficiently. When cells have low voltage, they cannot reproduce. Pure nascent iodine found in Shopfreemart Puredine greatly helps to increase cellular voltage. Kelp. Kelp is a plant-based form of iodine, but the rate at which it absorbs is dependent on how well it is digested. Studies indicate that much of the available kelp today is contaminated with hazardous chemicals like bromine, arsenic, radioactive iodine, so be sure of your source of using kelp. Potassium iodide. Potassium iodide. This form of iodine comes in tablet form It is an inorganic form of iodine. These forms of iodine cannot be used by the body without the help of the sodium iodide symporter or NIS, which transports iodide into the thyroid. A deficiency of NIS when taking potassium iodide can lead to damage of the thyroid tissue and a condition called Hashimoto's disease. Selenium. Selenium is a crucial element in this process. So when taking iodide, be sure to supplement with selenium. Each drop of Shopfreemart Puredine contains 1.8 milligram, 1.8 milligram of nascent iodine. You can use the following table as a rough guide for computing dosage. You can see this at the ebook, www.200diseases.com. Now, here are the number of drops and equivalent to how many milligrams. The 7 drops of iodine, or Puredine, is equivalent to 12.6 milligrams. 8 drops is 14.4 milligrams. 9 drops is 16.2 milligrams. 11 drops is 19.8 milligrams. Skip some of this. 28 drops is 50.4 milligrams, and 55 drops is 99 milligrams. So if you want to take 100 milligrams, you have to take at least 55 drops. You start with a single dose or a single drop. You start with a single drop of Shopfreemart Puredine after breakfast and build up by 1 drop every 3 days until a balance of general well-being is achieved. Starting with the lowest dose and building up while detox reactions are managed is the reasonable thing to do. Avoid taking Puredine after 4 o'clock p.m. as it may energize you and cause insomnia if taken too late. Side effects of iodine. Those with sensitive stomach could experience stomach pain and is the reason we suggest taking iodine with food. It is believed that no one is allergic to iodine. However, iodine is a powerful detoxifier of heavy metals and halogens from your body, which can produce unpleasant effects. If you experience flu-like symptoms when taking iodine, it's very likely you are feeling the effects of toxins being flushed out of your cells. You start out taking a lower dose and see how your body reacts. Symptoms of taking too much iodine too quickly include abdominal pain, delirium, fever, vomiting, and shortness of breath. It is a foregone conclusion, my friends, that widespread knowledge of the many benefits of iodine are being suppressed. Who are suppressing this knowledge? Remember, we mentioned that by 1970, those who owned and controlled Big Pharma were also in control of the FDA and the American Medical Association. Even if iodine is generally well known, it is clear how grossly undervalued it is, and how little is known about its potential to transform human health. Now you know. Take advantage of your knowledge, my friends. Read more, your great resource, www.200diseases.com. I will talk to you soon. Goodbye for now. This is Dr. Arita. Thank you so much.